Throughout our lives, most of us have been taught that letting go should be simple. If someone hurts you, you leave. If a relationship is bad for you, you walk away. Easy, right? But if it were actually that easy, none of us would still be checking our phones at midnight, wondering why we still care about someone who clearly doesn't care the same way back. The truth is, letting go of a toxic person is rarely about logic. You already know the relationship is hurting you, your mind knows it. But somehow your heart hasn't gotten the memo yet. So grab a cup of coffee, tea, or whatever your favorite beverage is, and join us as we explore why letting go is so hard and how to finally do it. As always, this video is for reflection and education, not a replacement for therapy or professional support. Ready? Let's begin. Let's start with the question almost nobody asks out loud. If this person makes you feel small, anxious, or exhausted, why is it so hard to walk away? The answer isn't weakness, it's biology. Psychologists call this a trauma bond, and it forms through something called intermittent reinforcement. Basically, when someone alternates between hurting you and being kind to you, your brain doesn't file them under dangerous. It files them under unpredictable, and unpredictable is far more addictive than consistent. A slot machine keeps people pulling the lever not because it always pays out, but because it might. Toxic relationships work the same way. The good moments become the reward you keep chasing, even while the bad moments pile up. You're not broken or naive for staying longer than you should have. Your nervous system was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now let's talk about how to actually recognize when someone has crossed the line from difficult to toxic, because that word gets thrown around a lot and it's not always fair. Not every disagreement, bad mood, or annoying habit makes someone toxic. But there are a few patterns worth paying attention to. Sign 1, they rarely take accountability. When something goes wrong, it's never their fault. It's the traffic, it's your tone, it's the universe conspiring against them. Over time, you may notice yourself apologizing for things you didn't even do, just to keep the peace. Sign 2, your boundaries don't seem to register. You say you need space, and somehow you end up more involved than before. You say something bothered you, and somehow you're the one comforting them about it. Healthy people adjust when they learn they've hurt you. Toxic people treat your boundary like a suggestion. Sign 3, you feel drained more than you feel supported. Give and take should even out over time. With a toxic person, it rarely does. You may notice you're always the one checking in, always the one making the effort, always the one absorbing their bad days without getting the same care in return. Sign 4, you dread seeing them before you even know why. That tight feeling in your chest before a phone call, the deep breath you take before opening a text. Your body often knows the truth before your mind is ready to admit it. And sign 5, the good moments keep you hoping instead of healing. This is the one that traps the most people, because toxic doesn't always mean cruel all the time. Often it means loving, then cold, warm, then dismissive. And it's that inconsistency, not constant cruelty, that makes it so hard to leave. If any of that sounded familiar, take a breath. Recognizing it is already the hardest part. Now let's talk about what letting go actually looks like, because it's rarely one dramatic moment. It's usually a series of small, quiet decisions. The first shift is separating forgiveness from access. You don't have to hate someone to protect yourself from them. You can wish them well from a distance. Letting go isn't about proving a point or winning. It's about deciding that your peace matters more than being right. The second shift is grieving the relationship, not just the person. This part surprises people. You're not only losing them, you're losing who you were with them, the future you imagined, the version of the relationship that existed in the early days before things changed. Give yourself permission to grieve that, even if the relationship was unhealthy. Loss is still loss, even when it's for the best. The third shift is expecting the pullback. If you've ever tried to leave a toxic relationship, you already know this part. The moment you truly start pulling away, they often reappear. Suddenly they're kinder, more attentive, more like the person you fell for in the beginning. This isn't always intentional manipulation. Sometimes people only value what they're losing once it's actually leaving. But your job isn't to analyze their motives. Your job is to notice the pattern and choose yourself anyway. The fourth shift is filling the space you're making. Letting go leaves a gap, and if you don't fill it with something nourishing, old habits and old people creep back in fast. This is where journaling, movement, creative outlets, or simply spending time with people who feel safe can matter more than people realize. You're not just removing something painful, you're making room for something better. And the fifth shift, maybe the most important one, is understanding that closure isn't something someone else gives you. Most people wait for an apology, an explanation, a moment where the other person finally says the right thing. But closure isn't a gift someone hands you. It's a decision you make for yourself, with or without their cooperation. So, if you're in the middle of letting someone go right now, here's what's worth remembering. You are not weak for missing them. You are not naive for having loved them. And you are not required to explain your boundaries to someone who never respected them in the first place. Letting go isn't cold. It isn't cruel. It's one of the most self-respecting things a person can do. Of course, every relationship is different, and not everyone who frustrates you is toxic. Some situations need boundaries, not goodbyes. But if you've recognized real patterns today, patterns of manipulation, disrespect, or emotional exhaustion, trust that recognition. Your discomfort has been trying to tell you something for a while now. If this video helped you see your situation a little more clearly, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been holding on a little too long. And let us know in the comments, what was the moment you realized it was finally time to let go? Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.